G'day guys, welcome back to Morezy Plays Minecraft, episode 77. And this episode we will be doing a little bit of work around our storage room to get it up to scratch. So, there is still heaps of storage lying around. We're working on it. It's a slow process, but we are getting there. So, there's a number of things we've got to do. Firstly, we've got to break down the old sorting system and make room to extend the new system. We're going to need to encase the water stream with ice so the items don't fall off, and build a timing system that's going to make all of our timing work for our minecarts. We're going to have to do that 4 times across the different wings. We're also going to need a lot of hopper minecarts because they're going to run across the top of each of our wings. We can also take apart the central system that I used for item distribution because we're going to change that. Alright, well that is a lot of work done on this storage system. So I figure we probably need to look at how this actually works because I don't know if I've really explained myself very well there. So what I thought we would do is have a look how this works, and I'll show you around with some of the things that I've done so far. So let's start down the front here. So this is the aesthetic that we'll be finished with once we've put all the items in place. Now, this isn't operational yet, but the chest down the bottom here, it's just got junk in there at the moment, will have these 5 wood types stored into this little barrel. And then, as I've shown over here, I think I've shown you guys, this is just one slice that incorporates a shulker box loader as well. And so the shulker box loader would come down here, and then we would probably have just like a stone button on the front of this barrel, which would eject that shulker box and replace it with another one. So that you could store, multiple items in here if this one ever filled up. But back to this side. So, originally in my design I had all the front of this was all barrels, and then I realized it would actually be really cool if I displayed the items that were inside it on the top here. And as you can see, it also works for just regular items. So this is a bit of a layout that I'm making for the regular items that aren't blocks. I've put torches on there at the moment to signify the items that I haven't set up in the filters yet, so that I know where I'm at. So, again, let's look at this first slice. So I've got the 5 different wood types here, and they would all end up in this bottom chest. Now, to do that, this is where this sorting system is really cool. So it's all single slices, and you can actually see here, we've got a hopper minecart sitting on top of this hopper here. This hopper feeds into that barrel, which feeds down and keeps going down and down and down, and it zigzags all the way down through here and into the bottom. So as far as storage space goes, we've got quite a bit of space. We've got 1 barrel there, we've got 1, 2, 3 hoppers there, 2 more barrels, a couple more hoppers, couple more barrels, so more than enough space here. And this barrel here is actually where it would split off. So it'll split off to go if it ever were to back up all the way up to that point. The idea is that it will split off here. You can just see that hopper there. So that barrel signifies where that hopper would go. And it would split off here once it's backed up. So all this would have to be full, and it would split off and go into the shulker box loader, which would load shulker boxes and shoot them into here. And we would end up with, we've got dispensers here for storage for the shulker boxes, as well as a row of hoppers here. I think there's 25 shulker boxes here, plus another 27 shulker boxes here, so quite a number. Okay, so the way that this works, you can see there that minecart just shot off underneath these hoppers here, And in each hopper, we've got the item filter. So this first item is the only one that gets picked up by the minecart. And then in each hopper, we've got a different item. So you can see how we've got 5 different items in here, 5 different types of wood. The extra slots are held up with these wooden shovels, which are just placeholder items to keep this from getting filled up with junk. And essentially, while it's sitting on this hopper, obviously it'll be unloading any extra items that it has picked up out of the water stream which goes around. So let's go up and take a look at the top side. Now you saw me put these hopper clocks here. So these hopper clocks will every so often flick these trapdoors. And what's really cool is this trapdoor holds this hopper minecart in such a position that when items go across this ice road, they get picked up by the hopper minecart. Now, what's really cool is it lets it go and this hopper minecart just flows with the water back over the top of these hoppers. And what that does is it replenishes the items that it took out back into the filter again, so we don't end up with random items in here. And if I show you one of the hoppers that just went under, it has 5 different item types in its slots. So what this means is this one single slice actually sorts out 5 different items at once. And that's what makes this thing so powerful. So according to those maths, basically we've got 20 slices across with 5 items each, which is 100 items in this amount of space. Now, if you wanted 100 items to be sorted using a traditional item sorter, this is going to have to be 5 times as long. So that's a significant space improvement. Now, obviously it works with items as well, but not only does it work with items, it also works with items that only stack to 16. So there's no need to readjust wiring or anything like that. So that's essentially how this system works, and the result, as you can see, is a super clean aesthetic. We've got really easy accessible items here, and then you can see I've tried to put it into some kind of order here as well, so that we know what we're looking for. Now, this obviously isn't all the items that I want to keep, but it's the majority of them. And these ones are the building blocks, so blocks that I might consider building with fairly regularly, or I might need fairly regularly. And as you can see over this side, I've started filling in with item frames so we can put all of our redstone components and utilities. And over here we've got nature and food and mob drops, which I think I'll need to adjust ever so slightly. That's why I haven't started filling this filter in yet. But in order to fill in the filter, all I have to do essentially is grab 4 or 5 items of each block type and then just put them into the first slot of each of these hoppers. Just like that. And then, as I said, once it goes through, it will empty out any extra items that it picks up that aren't going to go into here, will go down and into the storage. And that's how we end up with our one wide tileable item filter. Alright, so that's some more stuff that we need to look at, is this. So this is actually like the 3rd iteration of this bulk storage area. I think on the video that I played before, just the montage, you could see what it used to look like. This is what it looks like now, and I'm super happy with this. This probably took me the longest time to work out as far as redstone logic goes. There's actually a lot of redstone logic in this, and I'll show you how this one works as well. So you can see here, this one is also hooked up to the ice stream. So this time we're using hopper minecarts for our filters, and if I click here you can see this is the item that we're sorting, and this is just the filler item for the filter. Underneath we've got hopper minecarts which will suck out these top items once we reach a certain number, and I can actually stack more than one minecart here if I wanted to as well, which would make it even faster. But this, by doing it this way, one, it allows me to have a super fast item pickup, because as you can imagine, if we're talking about bulk storage, we're talking about a lot of volume of items all at once, and I don't want to have to wait for one of the slow hopper sorters to go through and pick up items one at a time. I want to get a whole bunch and get them emptied as quickly as possible. it's pretty conceivable that I might throw 5 or 6 stacks of one of these items at any one time. So this really has to be quick at picking them up out of the water stream so that they don't stay in item form for too long. So as you can see, the rest of it looks like a traditional item sorter. It's just got the extra little bit of redstone here. And if I wanted to, I could have made it with this system here, but I needed the extra room to put the storage interface, and that's what I'll show you next. So this storage interface, we've got 7 items of bulk storage on this side and 7 items of bulk storage on this side. On this side, I've actually just allocated a couple extra spots, so I've got to have lots of cobblestone because of all the digging I've done, lots of smooth stone for the same reason, but I can easily switch these out to other blocks if I want. Now, what's really cool is these are one wide tileable silos. So this storage actually holds a significant amount of items. You can see all the chests and hoppers here. So it will hold heaps and heaps of items, and it's all one wide tileable. But better yet, it will actually show you what level that each of these are up to as far as their fill level. So as the items fill up in the back there, it'll light up from the bottom, it'll light up these lamps as it goes up, and you'll be able to tell, hey look, the light's right at the top there, I'm nearly full on netherrack, I better get some out and use it, or I better store some somewhere else because this is getting full. So that's the first thing. Again, we want to copy the sort of aesthetic we're getting here, where we're getting this nice, clean, minimal aesthetic with super functionality. So again, we've got a nice clean wall and really cool item display at the top. The lamps would show what items are being sorted, and each of these will show items going down as well as they're being sorted. And what I'm really proud about is the selection system here. So we've got the 2 sides for selection, and we've got 7 spots and a go button basically. And this is the mechanism that took me ages to work out, but I finally got it working and I absolutely love it. So if we were to rotate this item frame around, you see how the hopper kind of makes like an arrow, kind of like a point? We can point it at the item that we want. So let's do sand. Okay, so now it's pointing at the sand. When I flick this lever, down the bottom there'll be a little minecart that pops out, and as long as this lever is flicked, the minecart will actually start sucking items out of that slice. Now that'll suck out up to 5 stacks, and once that's done, I flick this off again, and it will shoot those stacks off into the water stream, and they'll come up here for me to collect, just like that. Now at the moment I've only got a little bit of sand in there, so that's why it didn't shoot out too much, but a super cool mechanism here that allows you to select which item you want to access. Let's try another one. I think, yeah, I had this on gravel. Let's try gravel. So gravel is this one here, and if we flick this on, we can see that it'll start picking up gravel. I'm going to leave this run for just a moment, and let's make some room so that I can put gravel into my inventory. Okay, that'll be just about enough. The gravel will shoot up to the top here, and there we go, nearly 4 stacks of gravel. So I also probably want to incorporate like a counter or a timer in here so you know how many stacks you're getting. But let's see this, right? So I'm pretty sure I'll have enough gravel in there. I've got 3 and a bit stacks at the moment. I don't need to leave this switch on for too long, and I can get just a couple more. So let's see how many more we get. So I got 51. I got 2 extra. So again, you can use this really quickly and only get a couple of items if you want. But what's really cool is the way that this system works. So as I hit the selector, it will change which of these blocks I'm referring to based on signal strength and comparators, and it took me quite some time to figure out, but I'm so super happy with it. And what's really cool is I've still got heaps and heaps of room down here to expand it if I need to. So down here, I've still got all this room, and I could easily put some deep storage down here that might include an option to send everything to a shulker box, for example. So if I fill up that slice, maybe I want to send it down here to a shulker box system that holds even more. You can see here, this is the system I'm talking about, and each of these lamps represent a different slice. and depending on which selector panel I have active would change the way that the lamps operate. So super happy with that. Alright, now let's see about the other half of this system, which is so cool. So the idea with having this giant ring of ice around the outside is that the items that I throw in here will have access to all the different wings of this sorting system. It'll be super efficient and very fast to move around. And in fact, what I'll probably end up doing is putting a little dolphin recirculating system on the corner here. So dolphins will actually pick up items in and reset their despawn clock, so that I don't have items despawning. However, this sorting system is so quick I probably won't have to worry about that. So let's take a look down. Where am I? Over here. So this is the idea. Now this is just a crude example of how it would work, but this is the idea of how I'm going to get items up the tower and into the storage room from all the various farms that I'm going to be building. So let's activate this. I just need to move this redstone. Alright, so as you can see, this system shoots minecarts up the water stream that I have down there, which I use for transport, and each of them get destroyed by the cart yeeter that I built, and that allows us to send items into the water stream. So if I put a whole bunch of this gravel that I got and the sand as well, and I might as well chuck in dirt, and so this isn't set up for speed yet, but as you can see it is already quite quick. But essentially all the farms that I create would have a minecart output that would go into this water stream and would get destroyed by the cart yeeter above us and straight into the water stream. And if we go over here to our bulk storage, you can see, yep, there goes the slice that contained all of the gravel. It's starting to load items into the sorter. And there's some smooth stone coming in as well. You can see it heading down into the sorter. Anyway, you can see there's the sand coming down. So the sand's going in. Super awesome. Taking another look at the sorting system again, you can see this is what it would look like if that whole row that we looked at before was operational. All of these minecarts would be full of items, be slowly putting them into the chest below before shooting off another row. Now, what I've done here as well is I've allowed us some room so that we can have these indicator lights. So each slice has its own independent indicator light, which means that if it's sorting out items that fit into the system here, and you know what, I could probably actually do that. Alright, so let's actually watch this work. So I've got some dark oak logs here, and if I chuck them into the water stream, okay, we can see them. They'll shoot around this corner. There we go. Alright, off they go. And then what will happen is, as they make their way around, they'll encounter this slice here, which has the dark oak in it. Let's watch from... there they go. Alright, so they just got picked up into that hopper. That hopper's making its way down here, and it should have all of them in it, which it does. And then what will happen is, as it unloads them into this slice, we'll be able to see that indicator light is turning on. There we go. So we know that there's items flowing into here, and that will make their way into that. So we end up with 2 of those items in there. Now the extra, there were a few extra in there. They'll actually top up this system here. So you can see there's 26. This will get to the point where there's a full stack in here, and then every additional item will always flow into this here. So hooked up to the indicator system is also this central line. Now this central line will allow us to determine if anything is currently being sorted or not. And what this will do is this will go to one of these other corners, which I can't remember if I made it this corner perhaps. Yeah, this corner here. So the central line will actually link up between this side, this side, this side, and this side. And if any of those are lit up at any one time, it will disable this corner. But if it doesn't, then what will happen is this corner will allow us to pluck out anything that's non-sortable. So things like shovels, mine carts, other things. And also it will allow us to pick up any excess items that don't have a home. So if across my course of doing this, I forget to put these basalt bits into a filter, if these are all turned off and there's basalt floating around, it'll eventually make its way into this section, into here, and I'll be able to say, oops, I forgot to put basalt in, and I'll go fix that. Otherwise, it might even just sort stuff into here that I don't really get that often, like, you know, a turtle scoot or something, which I really don't need a full slice for because I just don't use it that often. So maybe they would sort into here instead. So I'm slowly plugging away and putting all the items into their positions. It will take me some time to get all this sorted out. As you can see over this side, I've probably done half of the wall so far. Once this is all done, then I can start emptying some of these chests here. But I'll obviously need some other things set up too. So name tags, stone fences, all this other stuff. That's going to end up needing to find a home as well. So I'll have to incorporate them into these other sides. But yeah, it's going to take some time, but we will get there, and it's made huge progress so far. Now, the other thing we're going to need to do is this corner here is going to actually have an auto crafting system in it. So over there we've got our bulk storage. I might do a second bulk storage in the opposite corner. We're going to have our unsortable and unstackable items over there, and in this side we're going to have our auto crafting area. So the auto crafting area is going to allow us to pick and choose items that we want to be crafted, but it's also going to automatically pick out items from the stream that we want to auto craft. For example, I had some in here somewhere. The gold nuggets, for example. Where are they? Anyway, there's some gold nuggets there, and this system will automatically pick out the gold nuggets, turn them into ingots, and it will probably automatically turn them into blocks as well, so that I don't have to store nuggets and ingots and blocks. I can just store blocks and ingots if I want to. And that system will be automatic too, so we'll have 5 or 6 different slices here, and each slice will do things like, for example, another one might be redstone. So I do have a little bit of space over here for redstone, but also redstone blocks, and I tend to use redstone blocks more because there's so many things that need redstone. I carry them around in blocks more so than loose redstone. So one more thing I'm trying to do here is optimize this design a little bit further. As you can see, this is my test world where I've been playing around with numerous different layouts and designs for this sorting system to try and make it a little bit more efficient, a little bit faster, have some other features. You can see how you can lay out the storage if you like. And one of the things that I'm working on at the moment is trying to utilize the activator rails so that it only picks up one item out of the filter at a time, which would mean that more of the items that go into these hoppers would be in the chest, and also that the hopper minecart here will actually have more room to put more items in as well. It also means that I can probably reduce one minecart out of each slice. So you can sort of see this one here is like a single slice running on its own. That's a visual glitch. That minecart's actually on the top, but you can see this takes a bit of time, and at this time there's no minecart here actively sorting, so that's why over here I had to go with 3 minecarts. So there's one there, there's one coming across here, you can see it better here. There's actually one coming across the water, but you can't see it, it's a visual glitch. And there's one there, and there's one there. So at all times there's one being unloaded, there's one traveling, and there's one sorting. So by using the rails instead, we can get the minecarts to move a little bit quicker, and then the idea should be that we minimize the amount of minecarts we use and actually change how many of items we're using as well. Anyway, I think that will about do us for this episode. It's been a little bit more of a technical episode, which I've been working on this storage room for so long now, it feels like forever. But we're getting to the point where it's getting pretty well finished. So now we can start doing some other things, which is really cool. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you again on the next one.